So, what is acid rain? Acid rain, or we call acid deposition, is a broad term that includes any form of precipitation with several acidic components, such as sulfuric or nitric acid, that fall to the ground from the atmosphere in wet or dry forms. These forms, such as rain, snow, hail, or even dust that contain acid. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Hafizuddin bin Muhammad Dahlan. My metric number is 256506. And just now I explained to you guys that acid precipitation only comes into two forms, which is wet deposition and also dry deposition. Actually, what is wet and dry deposition? First, we go through to what is actually wet deposition. Wet deposition is activity when the wind blows the acidic chemical to the areas where the weather is wet, and the acid falls to the ground in the form of rain, snow, fog, mist, or sleet. And what is actually the dry deposition? Dry deposition is the activities if the wind blows the acidic chemical through the areas which is dry. The acidic pollutant slip into the dust, smoke, and fall to the ground in dry particle. And this wet and dry deposition can actually harm and give a bad impact to our environment and also mankind in this world. So, how you want to know the rain that fall to the ground which is contain acid or not? Rain that falls to the ground and its pH level less than 7, it is acid rain. Whereby if the pH of certain rain more than 7, it is not contain acid. So, what is the causes of acid rain? There are two types causes of acid rain, which is the natural sources and the human sources. Natural sources that can cause of acid rain come from emission from volcanoes and form of biological process that contribute to acid producing gases to the atmosphere. Other than that, lightning strikes also can naturally produce nitric oxide that can react with water molecules via electrical activity to produce nitric acid, thereby forming the acid rain. Besides the natural sources that will lead to the causes of acid rain, human activities also can leading to chemical gas emissions such as sulfur and nitrogen are the primary contributors to acid rain. The use of coal for electrical power generation is the biggest contributor to gases emission leading to acid rain. As a result, these areas experiences exceedingly high amount of acid rain. These are example of the man-made sources that can causes of acid rain. Next, after we look at the causes on why actually acid rain happens, then we go to the acid rain effects on our environment. Acid rain actually can bringing a lot of impact, a bad impact to our environment, such as effect on aquatic environment, effect on soil, effect on forest, effects on architecture, and also effects on the public health. Acid rain either falls directly on aquatic bodies or gets run off the forest, road and field to flow into streams, rivers and lakes. Acid gets accumulated in the water and lower the overall pH of the water body. The aquatic plant and animal need a particular pH level of about 4.8 to survive. If the pH level falls below that, the condition becomes hostile for the survival of aquatic life. Species including fish, plant and insect type in some lakes, rivers and brooks have been reduced and some even completely eliminated owing to excess acid rain flowing into the waters. Besides that, acid rain can make trees vulnerable to disease, extreme weather, and insects by destroying their leaves, damaging the bark and arresting their growth. Forest damage due to acid rain is most evident in Eastern Europe, especially Germany, Poland, and Switzerland. Acid rain can also highly impact on soil chemistry and biology. It means soil microbes and biological activity as well as soil chemical composition such as soil pH are damaged or reversed due to the effects of acid rain. The soil needs to maintain an optimum pH level for the continuity of biological activity. Hence, sensitive soil microorganisms that cannot adapt to change in pH are killed. The damaging effects of acid rain on soil and high level of dry deposition have endlessly damaged high-altitude forests and vegetation cover since they are mostly encircled by acidic fogs and clouds. Besides, the widespread effect of acid rain and ecological harmony have led to stunt growth and even death of some forests and vegetation cover. Acid rain on buildings, especially those constructed with limestone, react with the mineral and corrode them away. This leaves the building weak and susceptible to decay. Modern buildings, cars, airplanes, steel bridges and pipes are all affected by acid rain. Irreplaceable damage can be caused to the old heritage building also. Public health also can be affected by acid rain. When in atmosphere, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide gas and their particulate matter derivatives like sulfate and nitrate degrade visibility and can cause accidents, leading to injuries and death. Human health is not directly affected by acid rain because acid rain water is too dilute to cause serious health problems. However, the dry deposition, also known as gaseous particulate in the air, which is the case are nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide, can cause serious health problems when inhaled. Acid rain leads to weathering of buildings, corrosion of metal, and peeling of paint on surfaces. Buildings and structures made of marble and limestone are the ones especially damaged by acid rain due to the reactivity of the acid in the rain and the calcium compound in the structures. The effects are commonly seen on statues, old gravestones, historic monuments, and damaged buildings. Acid rain also corrodes metal like steel, bronze, copper, and iron. Did you guys know India is one of the countries that experienced a serious impact of acid rain, and there is evidence. On August 23rd, Union Minister of State for Environment and Forest Namo Narayan Meena said that he has found increasing acidity in rain samples from Pune and Nagpur in India. A 2004 paper in the journal Environment Science and Engineering by IMD scientists says pH value in rainwater has been dropping in India. The study finds a link between acid rain and the rising levels of sulfur and nitrogen compound in the atmosphere. The scientists cite the example of Northeast India where oil refineries, fertilizer factories, thermal power plant and oil and gas installations release sulfate and nitrate compound into the atmosphere, raising acid content in the rain. This is the example that actually shows acid rain can bring a lot of serious impact to our environment.
Hi, I'm gonna continue the video by talking about the international convention that are focusing on acid rains. So, because pollutant can be carried around many hundreds of kilometers by winds, acid pollutant emitted in one country may be deposited as acid rain in other country. Acid deposition has become an international problem. So, in 1979, the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe (UNECE) implemented the Convention on Long-Range Transboundary Pollution. The convention opened for signature in 1979 and came into force in 1983. In 1985, most of the UNECE members adopted the Protocol on the Reduction of Sulfur Emission, agreed to reduce sulfur dioxide by 30% in 1993. This was called as the 30% Club. All of the countries that signed the protocol achieved these reductions, and many of those that did not sign also have made these reductions. So in June 1994, a number of European countries signed the second protocol of sulfur. Most of the Western European countries agreed to reduce sulfur emission between 70 and 80% by 2000. While Eastern European countries generally have a lower target, which is between 40 and 15%. Overall, emission of sulfur dioxide in European are estimated to have fallen between 25 until 30% between 1918 and 1990. And further fall in sulfur dioxide emission are expected over the next decades. Next we are going to talk about the Sofia Protocol. The Sofia Protocol for reducing nitrogen oxide emission was adopted in 1988. This required all the countries that signed the protocol to stabilize emission of nitrogen. Although some countries committed themselves to reduce 30% by 1998, many of these countries are unlikely to meet this target, and most of the reason is due to the road traffic. In 1988, a directive was introduced for European Committee countries which required power stations to reduce emission of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen. And for example, if for the UK, reduction of sulfur dioxide by 50% by 2003 and nitrogen oxide by 30% by 1998 have been set. The UK is well of course to achieve both targets through their new gas-fired power station and that replacing coal-fired power stations, and fuel gas desulfurization equipment fit to some of the existing coal-fired power stations. And the most recent UNECE Convention on the Long-Range Transboundary Air Pollution Protocol was signed by 27 countries in December 1999. The Gothenburg Protocol, designed to amend acidification, eutrophication, and ground-level ozone, aim to cut emission of 4 pollutants, which is sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, organic compound, and ammonia, by setting country-by-country emission ceiling to be achieved. The protocol was amended in 2012 by executive body to include national emission reduction commitment to be achieved by 2020 and beyond. So for the prevention measure, the best way to prevent acid rain is by reducing pollutions. Scientists have been found different ways to reduce amount of sulfur dioxide released from the coal burning power plants. One option is to use coal that's less sulfur. Another option is to wash the coal to remove some of the sulfur. Or the power plant can also install equipment called scrubber, which is will remove the sulfur dioxide from gases leaving the smoke tank. Because nitrogen are created in the process of burning coal and other fossil fuel, some power plants are changing the way they burn coal. And second is the use another sources of energy. A great way to reduce acid rain is to produce energy without using fossil fuel. Instead, people can use renewable energy sources such as solar power or wind power. Renewable energy sources help to reduce acid rain because they produce much less pollution. These energy sources can be used to power machinery or produce electricity. Number 3 is to use a cleaner car. Car and truck are the major sources of the pollutant that causes acid rains. One car alone does not produce much pollution, but all the cars on the road added together create a lot of pollution. Therefore, a car manufacturer are required to reduce amount of nitrogen oxide and other pollutant released by a new car. And one type of technology that used in car is called as a catalytic converter. This type of equipment has been used for over 20 years to reduce amount of nitrogen oxide released by a car. And some new car also can use a much cleaner fuel as a power, such as a natural gas. Okay, for the conclusions, acid rain is a very important issue that has bad effect to the environment. Acid rain is one of the major environment problems since 19th century. There will be a many health problem can be avoided if acid rain become little less of a problem. We can help to stop this acid rain by a very simple way, which is not polluting the air. As they say, prevention is better than cure. Some small measure by all individuals, along with the some measure in place by the government, can do wonders for our country. At least what we can do is we can make it a better place to live for all.